Good morning, Bitcoiners. This is Daniel with the Bitcoin Citadel, day 68, the last day of Citadel summer. It's raining this morning. It's the end of summer, for me anyway, for Citadel summer. Today's rip is entitled, All the World's a Stage. Famous speech from Shakespeare's As You Like It. 1599, and he, in that speech, in that monologue, right, in that beautiful, come on, camera's starting to threaten to fall over. It's been doing that lately. The actor says all the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely players, right? And I think that that's true. Where I disagree with the Bard of Avon is that the world is a stage. We are players, but we don't have to play a part that's written for us by someone else. We don't have to take the easy route and be funneled into these reality tunnels that have been written for us. We can write our own story. We can be the protagonist of our own story. Right? That's the message of one of the main themes of Citadel Summer, is becoming the protagonist of your own story. So the world is a stage, right? And if you visualize your part in it, where you want to be in 5 years maybe, as if you were living it already, if you write your own part in this play that's playing out on the world stage, right? You can be the protagonist of your own story. So while William Shakespeare's monologue talks about how the world is a stage and we're only players, and we go through these 7 stages that are scripted for us, and it basically ends in death. Not a super uplifting speech, that one, right? You can turn it on its head and say that this stage that we're on is a stage that is receptive, right? When we program our own future, this simulation responds, right? When we program it and we act on it. That's number one. So all the world's a stage and we are players, but we can be the writers of our own script and the protagonists of our own story. The other thing, every single day on this, in this series, I've introduced myself as Daniel from the Bitcoin Citadel. And I am a Daniel. And if you think about what it means to be a Daniel, what are the characteristics of Daniel? Well, there's a book of Daniel in the Bible. Some of you are familiar with the Bible. Some of you probably aren't. And in that book, in the story, the people of Israel are captured and taken to Babylon, right? And put through all kinds of trials. And Daniel is famously thrown into the lion's den, right? And with the help of the angel of God, comes out in the morning unscathed. And the book of Daniel is really about faithfulness, courage, and there's a whole part of it that's about prophecy. So foresight, making predictions, right? Being inspired and being able to look around the corners of the world, right? And that is the role of Daniel in this world, right? And I am a Daniel. So, and I think that ties in nicely with Bitcoin. To me, as you know, because I've said it before, if you've watched my channel, Bitcoin is a means, it's not an end, right? Bitcoin is a means so that we players on this world stage, can become the protagonists of our own story. I have an episode earlier on, it's about how Bitcoin is our place to stand, so we can use this lever to lever ourselves into a leading role, right? As immortal souls on this stage, in this realm that is really, it's like a flight simulator here for us, right? We're here to learn and to develop our souls. We go through the refiner's fire of this predator-prey ecosystem to strengthen ourselves as creators. We have our 4 tools. We have our empathy. We have our humor. We have our imagination, and we have our intuition. These divine attributes that we can use here in the refiner's fire to forge our souls, right? And we can use this world stage. We can become not just players, like I said, but the protagonists of our own story. And I think being a Daniel in Bitcoin is great, because we need the courage of our convictions, right? We need the foresight to know that we're right about Bitcoin, right? And we need a certain amount of faith that in the times like now, when Bitcoin seems to be dropping like a rock, we hold on, right? We hold on, and we use this Bitcoin, this place to stand, to lever us into the starring role, the protagonist of our own story. Yeah, so that's kind of Citadel Summer in a nutshell. Me, your messenger, Daniel, letting you know my thoughts about Bitcoin and about its place in this realm and how we can use it to make our way and to set ourselves up for the future that's coming, and it's going to be upon us real soon, right? So Bitcoin, a means, not an end. It's not a god you should worship, right? It's a means that we can use. It's a great leveler in a way, right? You don't have to be a Series 7, trading quant with a computer science degree to get the most out of Bitcoin. You don't have to trade at all. All you have to do is acquire Bitcoin and hold on to it. Super easy. Super easy. Even for an 80 IQ pleb like me, right? Super easy. You don't have to trade at all. You don't have to leverage your Bitcoin. You don't have to borrow against it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you have to do is acquire it. That means you got to understand that it's worth acquiring, and hold it. You got to understand that even though it's volatile, it's worth holding. It's worth keeping. It's worth keeping your hands on. Yeah, I think this is going to be a short one today. This is the last episode of Citadel Summer. It's been awesome. I've learned a lot. I have some funny stories too. I'm going to tell 2 stories about Citadel Summer out here on the lake. Come out here every morning, hike out to my spot. I do my video. Some mornings I see bald eagles and I see, loons. I hear the loons. I see one morning I saw people swimming across the lake right behind me. That was awesome. I see one morning a guy came in on a power boat, and I don't know if he was fishing all night long or what he was doing, right? It was like before the sun came up. Other mornings I've seen people, canoeing, some people in an Adirondack boat. Usually on the weekends I see people out here, right? But hardly ever on the hike out to the spot that I stand in front of. Hardly ever. But there are a couple of times, a couple of interesting stories that I want to share with you. And then I'm going to sign off, and I'll talk to you again, but not tomorrow, probably. So the first day, very first day that I'm out here, and I'm going to do my videos, and I hadn't even, I was just making stuff up as I went along, right? I had the vision of doing videos every single day for the whole summer and creating, inspired by my friend Jor. And look at this, I'm dressed like Jor this morning. Unfortunately, it's raining, so I had to wear a raincoat. That was my homage to Jor. So Jor, if you watched this, drop a comment to let me know that you saw it. So I'm out here, very first day, I park my car at the trailhead, and I walk out here and I do my video. I find my spot. I'm like, oh, I can do a video right there. That's cool. So I find my spot. I do my video, the very first video. And I walk back, right? Walk back, hike back to my car. And it's a decent walk, it's a hike out here. And I get back to my car and I can't find my keys. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So this is Jason would say this is AIX trying to knock me off my game, because I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? What a dumb idea this was. Coming out here, I lose my keys on the first day. How am I going to get home? I got to go to work in a couple hours. All that kind of stuff. So, because I can't walk home from here, it would take me too long, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, what can I do? I do have my phone and there is service here. So I'm like thinking of what to do. Do I call AAA? Da 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 da. And I do call AAA, right? And they're going to send a wrecker up, but it's going to be a long time because I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere out here, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like breathing and trying to mellow myself out and, keep strong, right? I'm like keeping my conviction to do this project that I'm now at the end of. And this dude walks up this road in the middle of nowhere. I've never seen anyone walking on this road ever. Right? And he walks up and he walks out on the path, right? This is while I'm still thinking about how I'm going to fix this, how I'm going to get home and go to work and post my videos and all that other stuff, right? And I'm sitting there and he walks out, he comes out, probably come out to this spot. It's a super nice spot. And then he comes back, right? So this took a while. It takes a little while to get out to this spot and to get back. And as he's walking back, I'm ready to walk, I'm ready to walk out just like he walked in, He walks out and he's holding my keys because I'm looking all over the place for my keys, That was the first thing that I did. I couldn't find them. I thought I locked him in the trunk. That's what I thought. I don't even know what I was thinking. So he walks back and he walks up to this sign, the trailhead sign, and I noticed that he had my keys in his hand. And here I am standing outside my car and I say, oh my God, did you find a set of keys? And he's like, yes. And I said, I can't believe it. I lost my keys on the trail. And he said he found the keys sitting in the middle of the trail way out there. I should have thought of that. I should have hiked out on the trail myself and tried to find him. But this guy out of nowhere, never saw him again, never seen anyone walking on the road that comes out to this trailhead again, gives me my keys. I drive home. I process the video, I post it, and that's the beginning of the channel. Crazy, right? Never seen anyone out here again, ever, right? Walking up the road, coming out onto this trail in the morning. So that's story number one. Story number two is I do see people occasionally, especially on the weekends, coming out here to walk their dogs or to, it's a nice trail. I'm usually up super early, so not a lot of people are out here, but especially on the weekends, I do see sometimes some people, right? A couple of ladies with their dogs I've seen a couple of times, but I've never really interacted with anybody except for one person other than the key guy on day one. I don't even know his name. There was another guy who started to come out here, and I would come, get close to the trailhead when I was walking back, and there's a long, the kind of trail runs out at the end, so I can see the trailhead from pretty far back, and I saw his car there, and I saw him kind of leaning against his car smoking a cigarette in the morning. I'm like, oh, okay. So the first time I saw him, I just said hi to him, and he was a super friendly dude. And rather than just saying hi, he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And he introduced himself. His name was Michael, right? And we had a conversation. Cool, yeah, awesome. And he told me that first time was just an introduction. So I told him, yeah, I love it out here in the morning, and it's beautiful. And it was like, there's no pink in the sky now, but that morning was a nice sunrise morning. It was pre-sunrise, right when I do my videos. I'm walking back. And he's like, wow, this is a great spot, huh? Didn't think twice about it. Drive away. But a couple other times I see Michael out there and I recognize his car and I remembered his name, and I'm terrible with names, but I did remember his name. So Michael, right? Michael is the name of an angel too, right? Michael, this guy, doesn't really come into the story that much. But I see him again and we have a longer conversation and I learn more about Michael, and he's a guy, he's almost my age. He's got two girls. One of them's in college. One of them just graduated. Great guy, and we talk more and more. So we've had probably 3 or 4 or 5 interactions out here on the on the lake at the trailhead. You know, Michael might be coming out. You know, sometimes he comes out here early before the sun is even up. One morning he saw Jupiter and Venus in the sky, and he's like, "Oh man, it was so beautiful this morning." And I was like, "Yeah, it is right now still." So we made a little friendship. I drive a super old Subaru. You know, it's like a 2012, I think. You know, I think, you know, the Subaru is the state car of where I live, state car of Vermont, right? So I'm driving my Subaru, and it's getting louder and louder as the summer's going on, because the mufflers or the exhaust pipe is shot, right? I need to get that fixed, right? But it's an old car, it's super old. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not going to have this car very much longer. As a matter of fact, in a week or two, I'm getting rid of that car. I'm selling it, and I'm going to convert that money into Bitcoin, obviously. I won't get that much for it, but it's going to be a couple $100 probably. That'll be in Bitcoin. So Michael tells me one day, I see him as I'm pulling out, and we have our conversation. I jump in my car, I start it out, and I'm about to pull out, and he waves at me and he goes, whoa, hold on a second. He goes, I know a guy who has a shop that's right at the end of the road. When you get out on the highway, after you drive, you know, from this, you know, this long winding road back to the highway, from the middle of nowhere to the highway, there's a guy, it doesn't even look like an auto shop, but just at the end of the road, there's a guy who has a shop, and he's a friend of mine. And if you bring your car there, he'll fix it really cheap. So instead of $500 to have the exhaust fixed, he said he'll do it for $75. He'll just repair it for you. And I was like, whoa, really? And he goes, yeah. He gives me the number. So I wind up calling the guy, or texting him at first, I think, I can't remember. And I said, Michael, you know, gave me your name and number. Can I come in and have the car fixed? And usually when you want to get your car fixed, it's like, oh yeah, we'll book you for 2 weeks from 2 weeks from tomorrow, and you can come in and get your car fixed. And the guy goes, yeah, where are you? And I said, well, I'm a few minutes away, you know, I'm 15 minutes away. He goes, come on down, I'll take a look at it. He looks at the car, he sees what it is, he goes, oh, I can fix that. It's going to be like $100. And I was like, great, you know, because it was going to be, you know, to get my car fixed, I had already gone to a shop, and it was going to be like $500, like I said. And the car is hardly even worth that. I'm not even going to have it for that long. So I said, all right, cool. And I brought it down. The next day he got it in, fixed it, and I got my car fixed. It doesn't make that noise anymore. So I can drive my car for the next couple of weeks until I get rid of it, and it's going to be cool. The other cool part, though, is just coincidentally, my wife has a new car. You know, it's not brand new because we don't buy new cars, but we bought it with cash. So it's like but it's much newer than my car, right? And her exhaust system that day broke. This guy who owns the shop told me that happens all the time to cars. And it just kind of split off where it connects with the muffler. So I bring my car and I pick it up and I say, hey, can I bring my wife's car in and you do the same thing for hers? And he did. So instead of paying, it would have been even more for my wife's car. So we paid $200, got both of our cars fixed, had the same problem. And this guy, Michael, that I met out here, just by being out here, you know, and hanging out this summer, helped us to get both of our cars fixed. Hers coincidentally just broke, right? Right when I had my car fixed, and right when I knew the guy who could fix her car. How crazy is that? I don't know how it ties into Citadel Summer, other than when you do stuff like I did this summer, things happen. You meet people, and things happen that you didn't plan on, but are cool things. And they're notable events that happen along the way in your journey just because you took the first steps on it. Pretty cool, huh? I think that's it. That's the Citadel Summer Series. I am Daniel from Bitcoin Citadel. This is your last chance to like, to subscribe, and to comment on my videos. Let me know how you like the series. I got some ideas cooked up. I will continue to create on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. It's not going to be every day, but there will be content. I thank you guys for watching. You 3 or 4 people who who comment especially. I really enjoy that. It helps to keep me going. I am a faithful, courageous, and prophetic person, as you know, as a Daniel. But it does help when people, acknowledge the work and give me some comments. So, again, your last chance in the Citadel Summer Series to put a comment in there. Last chance to like it. Last chance to really watch this series of videos. Been a great ride. I'll talk to you again. It won't be tomorrow, though. Probably. Peace.